I call it the Olympics of my life. Do I want to keep functioning and maintain some independence, or do I want to just give in to it? Misperception that you're end stage, dribbling down your shirt, can't function, can't comprehend, can't communicate, but actually very few people are like that the day they're diagnosed.
It was a very poignant thing that she said to me one day. What really pisses her off is people coming up to her and going, you can't have dementia because obviously you're so functional. Well, I wouldn't be the one to say that to her.
A psychologist stood up, having heard me say how offensive, insensitive, hurtful. He stood up at the microphone and said, "But you don't look like you've got dementia." And I said, "And you don't look like an asshole."
I'm a psychiatrist. I know what dementia does. I know what it can look like. I know how it affects everyone. That's my biggest fear, actually, is that I will get dementia. It runs in my family, so there's a pretty high chance that I will.
Well, the day I was diagnosed, I was working full-time, studying at university, doing a double degree, bringing up teenage kids, running a house, volunteering, doing all the, mad, middle-aged mother stuff. Why would it be even vaguely logical that the minute after diagnosis I wasn't capable of doing anything all of a sudden?
So if Kate had had a stroke or some sort of other head injury, for instance, she'd get great rehabilitation and aftercare. We're quite good at that in medicine. Well, you get a diagnosis of dementia and you're basically told to put your affairs in order and go get ready to just deal with it in a very negative way.
But this one is done so brilliantly. It's almost as if at times it's fictional. Yes. The characters are so larger than life, and Dr. Mark Cross himself is such a wonderfully written character. You know, it's for real.
I know. Did he write himself?
He probably did write himself. He's a psychiatrist. He probably can.
We in the medical world are not very good dealing with it after diagnosis. There's this huge gap, and we have to do something about it because it's a bloody national disaster.
So one of the things with the new tsunami of dementia is the amount of research that's being done into dementia and the way it's publicised. Every other day there's a cure around the corner. Most of the conferences I've been, they usually have a session, will there be a cure in 2025 for dementia? And usually it's a resounding no by all the top researchers in the world. And what we hope to do in this documentary is kind of sift through all the research that's out there, find the best evidence for possible cure, the best evidence for risk reduction, the best evidence for slowing down the progression of dementias.
I want to be able to look at the information, translate it. I mean, a lot of it is out there on Google, for instance, but to try and work out what's relevant and what's useful is part of what I'd like to do. And hey, if we can find something that prevents this, and certainly, if not that, makes somebody living with dementia a much more enjoyable and exciting process that's not a death sentence from day one, bring it on.
It smells like a home, it feels like a home, and it functions like a home. So it's not your traditional dementia care unit where you walk in and you have people screaming or the smells of urine and feces. Not at all. It's a home that we engage the residents in things that are purposeful and meaningful to them. So things like getting them involved in the cooking and the baking and the gardening and the shopping to their capacity. And we celebrate who they are, and very much they're individualized and not institutionalized. Storytime is really about engaging, having an intergenerational interaction between the Littlies and our residents. I think the Littlies love it. They come and they bring their favorite book, and they find one of the residents to sit on the couch with and enjoy that time. But I think the residents, for a few minutes, they get to feel like somebody needs them again, and that they can have that connection, which is invaluable.
We don't research on improving current care and practice for looking after those people if we don't put money into research into slowing the progression, helping us to live longer, more independent lives, then the cost not only to us but to government, to the health sector, is massive. We really need much more research into managing dementia better once we've got it.
You're great to give Christmas presents to, Mum. We just give you the same thing year in, year out. We just wrap it again.
The mobile phone went. It was the vet hospital to say that the dog had died. They sat back down at the table and I said, "So I guess you won't be wanting a doggy bag today." Pete said to me, "Well, where are we going?" I went, "Oh shit, I don't know." One of my sayings is, you live until you die. And so following on that philosophy for me has really been, I'm mad already, fuck.
I want us to be the first country in the Western world to reduce the rates of dementia and have fun while I'm doing it and show that there's life after dementia diagnosis.
If you can get over that sadness and get back and reclaim living again, then there's loads of joy still in my life and in lots of people that I talk to with dementia.
There's lots of positives to dementia. I can play cards alone and I'll always win.